So we're going to conclude our discussion on questions from chapter 3 by looking at question 11. And I do this because question 11 really captures a number of the previous questions that we've already discussed, especially 7, 8 and 9. You'll see that we've discussed whether good works are a bad thing or a good thing. We've discussed whether I'm obliged to do good works as a sign, as a demonstration of my faith in Jesus. And so now we get to question 11. It asks you, well, okay, what good works? What are the good works that you and I are expected to do? And that's a good discussion for you to have, because the answer is endless. And in some ways, the good works vary from place to place. There are some things you can do in one place that you'd be sadly lacking if you didn't. There's other things in another place. So, for example, I'm currently involved in an inner city congregation, a church, where we have people living on the street. And so feeding the hungry is a real issue for us. And that it's an appropriate good work for a congregation to be involved in that setting. However, I've also been in congregations in the suburbs where feeding the hungry might not be so easily achieved, or perhaps even in a rural area where perhaps it's not such an issue. So what are the good works that are expected of me? Certainly, Jesus gives us lists of things like feeding the hungry, about helping the poor, clothing the naked, visiting the sick, giving a glass of cold water, those sorts of things. We could also go on to good works within the fellowship, turning the other cheek, submitting myself to others. Are there times when, because I believe in Jesus, I'm willing to surrender myself to the will of the greater body? For some of us, that's quite a challenge in a church. We really want to have our own way most of the time. And so one of the demonstrations of our submission to Christ is submission to one another. And in a way, that truly is a good work. Is giving money, is praying a good work? I would say they are. I would say the things that I do to show kindness to others as a demonstration of my love for Jesus. They flow directly out of my commitment to Christ and his care for the lost world, and so I'm engaged in that ministry, the ministry of giving, the ministry of building, the ministry of going on work teams to foreign mission fields, the ministry of prayer. Sometimes is about myself, but more often it's about directing God's good intentions towards someone else, lifting someone else up in the presence of God. So take some time to think about that. In my situation, in my suburbs, in my hometown, in where I live, what are the good works that are required of me? Because there is no free pass on this one. No one can do them all, but we're all engaged in good works as a symptom of my love for Christ. And so give some thought to that. What are the good works that he requires of you? What are the good works that you're already involved in, naturally involved in, that perhaps you've never thought of as good works before? And where's the challenge? Where's the areas where you really should become involved? If you're a follower of Christ, you really should be doing this or that. Give some thought to that.